From Saved by the Bell to TGIF, what do iconic 90s stars look like now? Grab those Beanie Babies and NSYNC CDs to find out what your favorite stars of the 90s look like today. Alicia Silverstone was gifted her character's iconic wardrobe from the 1995 movie Clueless, and then she gave it all away. In 2020, she told Vogue, "I found Cher on the page to be materialistic and unappealing, and really annoying, to be honest." But Silverstone said that eventually she came to love both the character and the film. It just took a while. "I didn't expect any of the reaction that we got. It was a lot, and I think if anything, it all pushed me away from doing this job for a while and got me so much more into my activism. I eventually found my love of acting again." After years away from the spotlight, focusing on her family and her vegan activism and her line of organic vitamins, Silverstone returned to center stage in 2020 with the Netflix series The Babysitter's Club. With her self-titled debut album in 1994, Brandy Norwood arrived on the music scene in a big way and quickly became a first-name-only star. TV and movies soon followed, from her headlining role on the long-running UPN sitcom Moesha, beginning in 1996, to Disney's adaptation of Cinderella with Whitney Houston in 1997. She closed out the decade with a duet anthem with Monica, The Boy Is Mine, which was #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts for 13 straight weeks. Brandy continued acting after her smash success in the 90s, with roles on shows including Zoe Ever After, the CW's 90210 remake, and The Game. Her music career hit a snag after her 2012 release 211, when, according to Rolling Stone, her record labels sued her over claims that she was putting out music without their permission. Following a countersuit for production costs and then a settlement, the artist formed her own label, Brand New, and finally released her B7 album in 2020. She told Rolling Stone, "I really don't like that it took me this long, but I'm glad that I didn't rush it. When you've been absent from music for so long, you want to make sure that it's your best work." Actor Mark Paul Gosselaar isn't exactly like Zach Morris, his iconic character from Saved by the Bell. And one obvious difference is that, shockingly, Gosselaar isn't a natural blonde at all. Instead, he gets his dark hair from his mom. He told Jimmy Fallon,
"My mother's this tiny little Indonesian woman, and people don't know that Zach Morris is half Asian."
He went on to explain that they had to dye his hair to get Zach's classic bleached look.
People think, "Oh, that was your natural hair color." It was not. That was colored by Clairol.
In the years since Zach ruled the halls of Bayside High on the seminal early 90s sitcom, Gosselaar has been a steady fixture on TV. He's had roles in such shows as NYPD Blue, Franklin and Bash, and Mixed-ish. And the married dad of 4 bleached his hair once again to revive his iconic character on Peacock's 2020 reboot of Saved by the Bell. Tiffani Thiessen has an easy way of finding out when her latest project is a hit. She told Access Live, "I always know when I've got a new show that has kind of made it, because then interviewers will start talking about that one and not about the past ones. Those past ones happen to be some of the most iconic series of the 1990s, like Saved by the Bell and Beverly Hills 90210. Since her day, Thiessen has continued to act in high-profile programs, from Peacock's Saved by the Bell reboot to USA's White Collar and Netflix's Alexa and Katie. In 2015, Thiessen joined the celeb cooking and lifestyle space with her cooking channel series Dinner at Tiffany's, which showcased her culinary and entertaining skills as she hosted famous friends at her home. On the show's 2016 holiday episode, Thiessen welcomed her fellow 90s co-stars Mark Paul Gosselaar and Jason Priestley. She told Gosselaar that some of her cooking inspiration came while she was playing Kelly Kapowski on Saved by the Bell. "My love of food kind of started a little bit with you, traveling through Europe like we did when we were teenagers. Aw, you see? Zach and Kelly forever." For almost 10 years, Jaleel White played the suspenders-loving Steve Urkel on ABC's TGIF sitcom Family Matters. White, who was originally only supposed to be a guest star, was so good at the role that he stayed on and became the show's breakout star. Since leaving his geeky alter ego behind in 1998, White has continued to show off his range on shows including Fresh Off the Boat, Psych, Drunk History, and House. He's also the host of the Ever After podcast. But in 2017, he told The Hollywood Reporter that he's cool with the fact that he'll always be remembered for being Urkel. "If you go to talk to Disney about anything related to Mickey Mouse, you're going to get 50 people in that room. That is the crown jewel of their brand, and so they protect it. And so for better or worse, the crown jewel of my legacy still remains Steve Urkel." For 5 years, Jenna von Oÿ was the fastest-talking, bestest best friend 6 to Mayim Bialik's Blossom Russo on NBC's Blossom, which aired from 1990 to 1995. The flower-bedecked floppy hats and numerical name notwithstanding, von Oÿ credits her and star Bialik's normal lives for the authenticity of their teenage friendship on screen. She told Entertainment Weekly, "We didn't have boob jobs and we did not bleach our hair. That was the beauty of it, is we got to be ourselves. We were actually the age, essentially, that we were playing. That just wasn't really the case for all of the shows on the air at the time. In fact, we were going through some of the things that our characters were going through simultaneously." After Blossom, von Oÿ's most memorable role was on UPN's The Parkers, where she played another BFF character. In the years following, she wrote and recorded 2 albums, moved to Nashville, got married, and had 2 daughters. Though she occasionally still takes on acting roles, such as the 2019 film Cecil, she's best known now as an author and blogger for People. All that talk of Blossom has probably got you reciting the show's catchphrase. Whoa. Joey Lawrence, who played Big Brother Joey Russo, told HuffPost Live that he had to improv the delivery of the line after the scripted version didn't work. "It's so weird how that word has transcended 20 years. I just tried it once and did this weird thing and people laughed. We did a second take and they laughed again." Following Blossom, Lawrence went on to appear in a number of other sitcoms, including as the co-lead of the series Melissa and Joey, which ended after 4 seasons in 2015. Since then, he has appeared in several religious and politically conservative films, such as Saved by Grace and Roe v. Wade. Little Joey, a crusader for the religious right? All we can say is, whoa. Melissa Joan Hart starred in 2 of the most popular teen shows of the 90s, Clarissa Explains It All and Sabrina the Teenage Witch. The star founded a production company, Heartbreak Films, with her mom in 1993. After keeping it real as the sarcastically witty Clarissa Darling and then the actually bewitching Sabrina Spellman, Hart found success with TV movies in the 2000s. She starred opposite Mario Lopez in Holiday in Handcuffs, a true Christmas classic, and worked alongside Joey Lawrence for My Fake Fiancé and a 2010 to 2015 sitcom, Melissa and Joey. Hart has continued acting on screen, but is also an accomplished stage actor and a prolific television director. Still, Hart is fine with or without fame. She told Glamour that she's just happy to be a working actress. "I'm working and paying my mortgage and am fulfilled creatively. It doesn't worry me that people don't know what I'm up to." Sisters who TGIF together stay together. Tamera Mowry and Tia Mowry Hardrick starred in ABC's Sister Sister as separated at birth twins who have a chance encounter as teens at the mall, bringing them back into each other's lives. The hit sitcom debuted in 1994 during the network's coveted Friday night lineup before later moving to the WB. Mowry Hardrick and Mowry Housley have maintained their close bond as they've navigated the industry post-Sister Sister. They appeared together in the Style Network reality show Tia and Tamera from 2011 to 2013, and both of the married stars had their children around the same time. Mowry Hardrick has acted in shows like Netflix's Family Reunion, The Game, and Instant Mom, while Mowry Housley was an original co-host of the talk show The Real for 7 years until 2020. About the prospects of a Sister Sister reboot, Mowry Housley has it all worked out. She told Pop Sugar, "I would like to see something unexpected of the girls. I always had this vision of them like the Sex and the City girls. Sexy, smart, witty, but obviously still having an amazing sisterhood." According to National Today, Home Alone is the most popular Christmas movie in America. But one person who doesn't need to see it again is the film's star, Macaulay Culkin, who told Ellen DeGeneres in 2018, "It's background radiation at Christmas time. I've had people who want to sit down and watch it with me, which is both flattering and creepy." Culkin starred in the smash hits 1992 sequel, Home Alone 2: Lost in New York, as well as a string of memorable movies like My Girl and Richie Rich. Though he stepped back from high-profile roles by the mid-90s, the creator of the humor website and podcast Bunny Ears popped up in movies like 2004's Saved and the 2021 FX series American Horror Story double feature. And in 2021, he welcomed his first child with his partner, Disney Channel star Brenda Song. Macaulay Culkin a dad? On October 4th, 1990, teen twins Brandon and Brenda Walsh moved from Minnesota to the tiniest zip code in America when Beverly Hills 90210 premiered on Fox. The primetime soap, produced by the legendary Aaron Spelling, focused on a group of kids at the fictional West Beverly High. It was an instant hit and would go on to follow the kids to college and beyond until May 2000. Jason Priestley played the dutiful and civic-minded Brandon until 1998, when he left after feeling the character had run its course. Before his departure, the actor started making a turn toward directing and helmed 15 episodes of the series. After 90210, the Vancouver native and dad of two continued acting on shows like Hot in Cleveland, in addition to directing and acting on a number of Canadian TV series. When the original 90210 cast reunited for the 2019 Fox reboot, BH 90210, Priestley, who directed an episode, also told Entertainment Weekly that he was glad to be back. "Since I've worked on that show, I've worked on 100 other projects, and working on all those other projects gives you an appreciation for how special that time was." Shannen Doherty, who was in 80s classics like Heathers and Girls Just Wanna Have Fun, gained true fame as Brenda Walsh in 90210. But she left the original 90210 in 1994 in a flurry of rumors about difficult behavior and frequent tardiness on set, which she denied. Drama also surrounded Doherty's exit from the WB's Charmed after 3 years in 2001. Unlike her on-screen twin, Shannen Doherty wasn't initially excited about jumping back into playing Brenda Walsh in the 2019 relaunch BH 90210. She told Entertainment Tonight, "I didn't want to do it. I've played the character so many times and I've done so many versions of 90210 that it felt like we had exhausted that avenue." After the CW's 90210 remake and BH 90210, Doherty is finally solidly Team 90210, telling TV Insider, "We have just weathered so much, either professionally or personally, so now we are all here and we all want the same things for the show. We are a team." Brian Austin Green was all sorts of everywhere in the 90s, popping up on everything from Growing Pains and Sabrina the Teenage Witch to Mad TV. He also played himself in an episode of Saved by the Bell: The College Years, and even dated one of that show's stars, Tiffani Thiessen. But by far, his most notable gig was playing David Silver on Beverly Hills 90210 for the show's 10-year run. After 90210 ended in 2000, Green continued his prolific streak with roles on shows like Desperate Housewives and Anger Management. His higher profile in later years came from his marriage to actress Megan Fox in 2010. The parents of 3 split in 2020. For the reality-esque reboot, BH 90210, Green was lured in by the chance to do a different spin on Mr. Donna Martin. He told AP News, "I played David Silver for 10 years, and that was enough for me. I liked the fact that I could go back and play David, sort of." Alfonso Ribeiro invented and then perfected his signature Carlton dance over 6 seasons as geeky cousin Carlton on NBC's The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He told The Ringer that he played the part so well that he was often typecast after the show ended its run in 1996. The experience pushed him to work on other skills, and he eventually found success as a host, particularly on America's Funniest Home Videos and Catch 21. And that's okay with him. He told The Ringer, "We live in 2020 where the idea of being an entertainer is almost foreign. But if you go back to the 50s, 60s, and 70s, almost everybody who was on TV were entertainers. You can go through so many of the stars of that time and they did everything. So I really look at myself as a throwback to a time long ago." The Carlton, as well, is timeless. Ribeiro incorporated it into one of his routines on season 19 of Dancing with the Stars, which he won. Tatyana Ali played young daughter Ashley Banks on NBC's African-American-led The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and learned a lot from her older co-stars, especially the late James Avery, who played patriarch Philip Banks. On HBO Max's Fresh Prince reunion special in 2020, she said, "He introduced me to black art in ways that I wouldn't have gotten that education anywhere else. His thing was, I'm in such a unique position, and that responsibility, you must elevate your craft. You have to represent, and you are paving a way." After Fresh Prince, Ali embarked on a music career. Her single Daydreamin' was a top 20 hit in 1998, and Ali collaborated with her former co-star Will Smith on another song. 25 years later, Tatyana Ali is still thrilled to be a part of Fresh Prince. She told Allure, "Something that meant so much to us personally for all those years still means something to people? It's a gift of a lifetime." For 7 seasons, Ben Savage played Corey on Boy Meets World, the heart of ABC's classic Friday night lineup. And after the show ended in 2000, he kept on acting, guest starring on shows like Still the King and Homeland. In 2014, he reunited with his Boy Meets World family for Disney Channel's spin-off Girl Meets World, which centered on Corey's life as a married father with a daughter of his own. Girl Meets World ran for 3 seasons, and Savage told Vulture that it was a gift. "What really means a lot to me is when people come up to me and say, 'I grew up on Boy Meets World, and it means so much to me, and I like that I'm now able to watch Girl Meets World with my kid because it's like passing the torch between generations.'" Boy Meets World wouldn't have been what it was without the presence of Savage's co-star Danielle Fishel, who played Corey's girlfriend Topanga Lawrence and became a 90s icon in the process. Following the end of Boy Meets World, Fishel continued acting, moving into voice work as well, but she re-teamed with Savage for the 2014 revival Girl Meets World, which saw Topanga and Corey dealing with being parents. The series ended in 2017, and though it will always have a special place in Fishel's heart, she told Hello Giggles that she's ready to move on. "I'm really happy moving into the second phase of my career as a director, and I know all of the guys are really happy moving into the next phase of their careers as well, so I think we're ready to honor and love Boy Meets World, but maybe leave it in the past." Twins Mary-Kate Olsen and Ashley Olsen famously teamed up to play precocious toddler Michelle Tanner in the 1987 to 1995 ABC TGIF sitcom Full House. And then they used that show's success as a springboard to much more with books, movies, and a fashion empire, turning the pair into two of the richest people in Hollywood. At its height, the Olsen brand was bringing in over $1 billion a year. As a result, the Olsens don't need to do anything they don't want to do, which is one reason they skipped the Full House reboot, Fuller House, when it debuted on Netflix in 2016. Though Mary-Kate still occasionally acts when she feels like it, Ashley has reportedly left all that behind her. Still, the two get along together as well as always. In 2015, Mary-Kate told British Vogue, "We've always worked together, so it feels natural to us." Candace Cameron Bure was more than happy to revisit her most famous role in Fuller House. Back in the 90s, Cameron Bure played older sister DJ on Full House. After the series ended, she acted steadily and found great success with TV movies on the Hallmark Channel, and also co-hosted The View for many years. Still, she was more than happy to return to her roots when the chance came with Fuller House. She told The Washington Post, "It was such a gift in my life to be able to reprise the show and do a whole new show based on the same characters. It really was an amazing gift." Sarah Michelle Gellar was a star in some of the biggest movies and TV shows of the 90s, from Buffy the Vampire Slayer to I Know What You Did Last Summer. Along the way, her friendship with fellow 90s lead Freddie Prinze Jr. turned romantic, and the two married in 2002. Gellar returned to TV in 2013 for the sitcom The Crazy Ones, but she told Marie Claire that when her co-star Robin Williams passed away in 2014, she began reprioritizing her life. "I just wanted to do more. I wanted to be more. I wanted to be present in my kids' lives because you realize how short life is." As a result, Gellar entered the food business with Foodsters, the organic line of at-home baking mixes she co-founded. But she hasn't totally left her TV days behind. She's been an active presence in animation, doing voiceover work for shows like Star Wars Rebels and Robot Chicken. Jennifer Love Hewitt has been in show business since she was a kid, but she's never let any of her successes over the years faze her. She was the it girl everywhere in the 90s, with roles on hit shows and movies, including Party of Five and I Know What You Did Last Summer. And after Party of Five's spin-off, Time of Your Life, was canceled, she turned to music of her own for a time before finding TV success again on 2005's Ghost Whisperer and Fox's 911 in 2018. But she never let any of that go to her head. She told Drew Barrymore, "I always just had a real understanding and appreciation for the fact that there are thousands and millions of people in the world who would give anything to get to do what we do." In 2020, Hewitt reflected on how the industry has changed since the days when she was asked about her figure as much as her work. Referring to her uncomfortable press interviews for the 2001 movie Heartbreakers, she told Vulture, "We're in a time where, hopefully, that narrative is going to change for young girls who are coming up now, and they won't have to have those conversations." After the whirlwind success of her 90s projects like Party of Five and the Scream movie series, Neve Campbell booked a flight to England. Campbell told Tom Power on CBC Radio's Q in 2019 that she felt she was getting typecast and that jetting away helped her put her career in perspective. "I took a couple years off with Caspian, my son, and then was lucky that the things that I chose and also that came to me were Mad Men, Grey's Anatomy, then House of Cards. That was the quality of work I had been hoping to do 10 years before. I needed people to forget about my other work." But Campbell hasn't entirely left her 90s roles in the past. She signed on to return as Sidney Prescott in another Scream installment. And before the cancellation of the Party of Five remake in 2020, she told Andy Cohen that she was open to revisiting Julia Salinger, especially given the show's focus on an immigrant family.
I think that's really poignant and important, so I'm really impressed, and if they want me to come and support somehow and do a scene in it, I probably would.
James Van Der Beek was a star from the moment Dawson's Creek debuted in 1998, and he also added the hit film Varsity Blues to his resume in 1999. So it's no surprise that Van Der Beek has appeared in a multitude of projects since, including TV shows like CSI Cyber and Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23, in which he played a fictionalized version of himself as a send-up of being pigeonholed as nice guy Dawson Leary. In 2012, ahead of the show's premiere, he told HuffPost TV that he was glad to be doing a lighthearted role. It's so much more fun to not take yourself so seriously. This is the kind of sense of humor I've always had. The happily married dad of 5 flexed his acting chops again with a role on FX's Pose, and is focused on doing more writing, telling News.com in 2018, "I'm just looking to tell stories that resonate." Just seeing their name got you singing, right? The pop rock trio Hanson, brothers Isaac, Taylor, and Zach, were just 16, 13, and 11 when their era-defining hit single Mbop was released in 1996. Middle of Nowhere, the album featuring Mbop, soared to the #1 spot in 27 countries and eventually sold 16 million copies. Hanson mania was everywhere, including many teen magazine covers, but they resisted the pressure to sell out. In 2017, Taylor told Spin, "When we first came out, being so young, the attempt to group us into the teen pop thing was strong. But we were like, we're just a band. We just happen to be really young. You'd be amazed at how many situations were like, put on a suit, it's very nice, very flashy. You're like, that's not happening." Now, with 7 albums and 15 children between them, the brothers are still enjoying making music together while staying true to their creative principles. In 2021, Taylor told Entertainment Tonight,
"Getting to do music, getting to write songs and share is like, you realize more than ever just how rare and amazing that is, that we've been able to do it."
Alexa, play Mbop. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Nicki Swift videos about your favorite celebs are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.